Welcome to another CHRO Conversation, hosted by the Center for Executive Succession at the Darla Moore School of Business. I'm your host, Anthony Nyberg, and today we are reviewing a compilation of interviews on the topic of culture in organizations. In this video, we get to learn from Nicolas Lamoureux, who is the Senior Vice President and Chief Human Resources Officer at IBM. Tim Richmond, the Executive Vice President and CHRO of AbbVie. Ernest Marshall, CHRO of Eaton. Monique Harena, who is the Chief Colleague Experience Officer at American Express. And Dave Ulrich, who is the guru of strategic HR.
For example, a lot of HR people say, we're worried about building a culture. And I say, how do you describe a culture? Well, culture is the roots of the tree. It's our core values. And my comment is, I like that, but it's descriptive. I love to describe culture as the leaves and branches of the tree that our customers consume. It's the fruits of the tree. So what is it we do to build the right culture against what our customers or investors expect from us? Amazon wants a culture of service and delivery. Marriott wants a culture of great customer guest experience. Disney wants a culture of giving you a wonderful experience in their park. Apple wants a culture of innovation. That's what the customers want. That then should be the driver of the culture. It's not the roots that are static. It's the leaves and branches that are changing based on what customers want. I think culture from the outside in is what we should be known for that allows us to be successful in the marketplace. So Disney has a culture of exceptional guest experience in their theme park. In other Disney films, they have a culture of creativity in other Disney businesses. When I define culture through the eyes of the customer, I begin to get the right culture, and then I can bring that inside the company through my HR practices.
We say culture is a company's purpose, plus their values, plus the behaviors. And I think that all three of those pieces are really, really important. The purpose and the values, the purpose is, why do you exist as a company? How do you make money? You can't have a culture if you're not existing, right? The values are the enduring piece. And this is, I think, really important too, because culture isn't something that shifts overnight. But behaviors are how it shows up every single day. And I think that's also extremely important, because you can have purpose and you can have values, but if employees are acting differently every single day, your culture is going to be very different. So it's all three of those components. I do think culture is getting more and more important. In fact, I think it is the defining piece of an employee value proposition. And it is the differentiator. No two companies should be the same. I think what you're finding in a lot of other parts of the employee value proposition, they're starting to converge a little bit. But culture is the one piece that is kind of unique and distinct, and your company can own and attract talent in a really meaningful way. The last thing I guess I will say about culture, I get a little frustrated when people say, oh, the HR department owns culture. I'm very clear in our organization, everybody in the company owns culture. The unique role that I think that HR plays, though, is we are the custodians of culture, and we are often the ones that it's our responsibility to hold the mirror up to everybody else. And is this what we want to look like? Is this the culture we intend to be? But also to be upstanders when individuals or organizations or parts of the organization aren't living up to that culture. So we have a unique role.
So we've made culture a priority from the beginning. I just think it's one of those things where culture's not the one thing you do. It's all the things you do each and every day. It's how we interact, it's how we engage. But I think really importantly, we tried to create clear standards and expectations right from the beginning. We call ours the ways we work. Every company can have their own. But the question is, are they reinforced? We make the how equal to the what when we assess our talent. When we develop our talent, we're developing against that standard. And we're rewarding people equally for the how and the what. So all this is a reinforcing element around culture and the environment and the strength of our people leadership. And what it creates is layers of leadership over time. So you go back to sustainability. layers of leadership over time built to a standard. And that standard is our culture aspiration, what we expect of each other individually, but collectively. And that's when the magic starts to occur over time. The strength of culture, even in tough times. We're living in a tough time right now. Culture is a differentiator for the great companies. We have what we call culture circles. And these circles are really meant to be communities. We'll take our African American or Black colleagues. They have their own culture circle, and it's really for them. And in some cases, you'd say, well, we do this and we bring everyone together. No, this is their community, and they focus on their development. They do a lot on onboarding. They do a lot on mentoring. They do a lot on what are issues that are important to them. And it's been really powerful because what it showcases is the strength of them together. It also helps them feel a stronger sense of connection. And some are remote and some are in person. And I just think this idea of intentionality is going to be critical.
I think the culture is the operating system of an organization. So it's all of it. You know, it's everything. And I think it's incredibly important. You have to win in your workplace if you're ever going to win in the marketplace. I mean, you absolutely have to. So I think culture is the cornerstone of every company's success. And you're building it every day. And why is that so important? I mean, think about any company out here, even through the pandemic. You're hiring thousands and thousands of people every year. Over a period of time, now I get this, these aren't all new positions, right? But think about hiring. Over a period of time, you're recreating your workforce every 6 to 9 years, potentially, right? So culture has to always be talked about and be nurtured. You know, I mentioned earlier, we have aspirational goals and we have attributes. We have to always ensure that people know at Eaton what we stand for, because the culture is important, especially for people coming in, right? But I do think that culture has really been a challenge for organizations through this period of being remote and having these hybrid schedules, because again, it's all about who we are, what we say, what we stand for, and a lot of that, unfortunately, has happened as we've come together. Not exclusively, but I do think that building into that culture as much as we can through this environment is going to be important for all the companies. But I start with the fundamental premise that irrespective of what situation we're in terms of work arrangements, we have to find ways to connect.
You know, culture, the way I think about it, is really the way work gets done at any company. And I don't think culture is about any one building or any one artifact. I think it's an important part of the history of the culture, of sort of having a physical manifestation of the culture and the brand, but that's not it. It's not the only thing. Culture is also what kind of relationships do people have? Do people embody those values and that brand ethos that we have of service at American Express? And the answer is yes, and you experience that in every interaction. Do I have a great onboarding experience so I understand the history of the company, a rich 170 plus year history? Do I understand the business? Do I understand the way work gets done? And I think those are really important cultural elements. What are our values? What are our leadership behaviors? It's great to have technical excellence in whatever your area of expertise is at Amex, but the way you lead, we have a rating on your business performance and on your leadership performance for every colleague. And the way you lead and the way you bring people along is just as important in our culture. And you feel that. It's evidenced in every interaction that you're in, whether that's one-on-one or a small group, on video, in the office. So there's so many ways that you can continue to reinforce the things that are most important in your culture. And then I think as a CHRO, you have to make sure that's really integrated into your HR systems. I'm very much a systems thinker and kind of integrated in the way our pay performance design sort of integrates with our training, our performance management system, and is everything about the company's culture sort of being reinforced in our expectations and the way we reward and invest in people. And so I think culture is not just about a building, and I think that culture is really about people and sharing the best way to get things done together, grounded in the values, grounded in the way you kind of think about your business, your customers, your colleagues, and your communities, and then showing that through your actions consistently.
You just listened to another CHRO conversation. Today, Dave Ulrich, Nicolas Moreau, Tim Richmond, Ernest Marshall, and Monique Harena shared ideas about the importance and role of culture in driving organizational success. On behalf of all of us who are associated with the Master of Human Resources program and the Center for Executive Succession here at the University of South Carolina, thank you for joining us.